Good morning and welcome to News and Politics Today with Renee and Calvin Boston Hill. Today is Calvin, what is it? September, what's the date?
Well, it's a good question, Renee, because usually you would know, but it's Monday, September the 12th.
Okay, well, September the 12th. Yesterday was 9/11, which is memorable for a lot of reasons for a lot of people. And we are here at Awesome Radio, 106.9 FM WBI.
SLP.
Thank you, honey. I need you today, as you can
It's
see.
no problem. We can have each other's back as always. If you want to give us a call at 252-756-2008 to be part of the conversation.
Yes, and we're going to need you to join this conversation because Mama Nay here has been very sluggish over this weekend, just been chilling. We did do an event on Saturday where we hosted for a job fair with the Daily Drum, and Awesome Radio was always there in the house, to support
Yes.
our community. So we had some good vendors. I do know that there are some citywide jobs that, a lot of companies are hiring, but there's also some citywide jobs that have good benefits that we should be able to take advantage of. We, Calvin, not you and I, we're retired, okay?
Yes.
We're not coming out of retirement, are we?
No, we're not. I'm not.
So as long as we are retired, we're going to stay retired. But maybe if there's opportunities out there, because we're still, like, even though we are into retirement, we're still able to give to the community and also work and make a little money. How about that?
Well, I'm not going to work. Okay.
Okay.
I will do some service like we always do, but working is not. That's for the young folks.
So, without further ado, what we're going to do is get started. We always talk about the coronavirus and people, and to our surprise, and what they were giving out, which was excellent, some test kits at the job fair, and we did get a few. Calvin was very good at keeping his mask on. Me, I was very bad, so I'm probably going to be using those test kits.
Yeah, you need to test yourself. You definitely need to test
I'm
yourself.
going to have to use some test kits because even though I was not really very close to people, but I did not keep my mask on as I usually do.
And actually, I was very surprised, but I could understand it too because you was talking on the mic, 90% of the time. So that was the reason for you not wearing your mask. However, I did see, and I don't want people to say you think you didn't wear it at all because you did have it on at some times.
Yes, and so we'll see what happens, and definitely, I'm going to keep you all posted. I'm just hoping because, to my surprise, just in speaking with the guests who were there, the vendors who were there, they were telling me about their virus experience and how so many of them, when they did have the experience, it was a very bad experience. So people are still getting, excuse me, Calvin.
Yes.
People are still getting the virus. People are having very bad effects of it, and they're still, was it the long-term COVID?
COVID, you're right. And what I don't understand,
Excuse me.
and maybe someone can give us a call and explain it. There was this couple where the husband had this COVID-19 twice and very bad. He couldn't do a whole lot of walking. It affected his lungs, and yet he still would not wear a mask. His wife is wearing a mask, but he wouldn't wear a mask. And that I don't understand, because if you have the virus and you get it, at least even if you get it one time, you should have, I would say, I'm not going to say sense, but you should have the knowledge to wear a mask. And because we preach that every week, we preach that. And the funny thing is, Renee, the couple listen to our show. That's the
Oh,
thing.
really?
Yeah, they listen to our show and they hear us say, wear your mask, wear your mask. But like the wife follow our instructions, but the husband don't. And he's had this COVID-19 twice. I don't know what it's going to take for him to get it.
Well, he will. Hopefully, he'll get it before it's too late. But in the meantime, we're just going to continue to tell our listening audience, and I'm going to be an example for them that if I get this virus that I have not gotten, okay,
Yeah,
and we're going to,
you've been very lucky. Very, I must say lucky because it's been all around you and you haven't gotten it. So that means you have a strong constitution.
yes, so that means that if I get it, and I hope I don't get it because we have some trips coming up, our listening audience and our people who we're friends with on Facebook. They say, "Are you people in town? Are y'all in town?" Well, the reason why they ask us if we're in town because come the end of the month, we're going to be in Lynchburg. Then we have a 9-day
But don't
cruise.
don't tell them all of our things. I don't want people to know when we're really out
It
of
doesn't matter
town.
because if they try to mess with our home, Calvin, we have a lot of security around
Well, that's
it.
true. You're right.
And then because I want our listening audience not only to live and look through our adventure on out there traveling all this time now that we're retired, but I want them too to have these experiences. It is so marvelous to not be in well, you can sit in a house. I know you're a house person, but I'm not a house
Well,
person.
I love my home.
Okay. Well, I love my home too, but I love to get away. And then when I come back, I can really appreciate the home. So we have a 9-day cruise coming up in October. I'm not saying when. And
Okay.
then they're flying us up. Do you know how many people do you know that they are flying us up to Atlantic City? If we got into the car, and we know we've had that experience where it takes hours to get to Atlantic City, but if you fly from the Greenville airport, it takes 45 minutes and we're there in Atlantic City. So, another great trip that we're having is that they're flying us up to Atlantic City. They're giving us transport to from Atlantic City Airport to the hotel. They're putting us in, they're still putting us into the a hotel for the weekend, giving us spending money and food.
I think we're giving away too much personal information. That's what I'm thinking.
All right, so I'm done. Good morning, everybody. I see that we have Doug Daniels. Dee is out there saying good morning. We have Leslie out there from St. Croix. Dee is in Hempstead, New York. Leslie is in St. Croix. Angie is in Chicago. And Katrina is in New York, Bronx, New York. So we have listeners out there and we appreciate each and every one of you. But let's get down to the busyness of our show. What kind of show we have?
Yes, you're right. Let's get right back to right. Well, there's a new book out, and I'm just going to talk about that for a quick second because this new book talks about 45, and what it says is that Trump told aides that he wouldn't leave office in the days following the 2020 election, even if when he lose, we're never leaving. Trump told an aide, reporter Maggie, Humper writes in her book, that he's gonna stay in there. He's not gonna. They're gonna have to take him out. So that and see the thing with this here is when people write these articles or put these things in the books, well, they have to check and recheck to see because people are talking now. The aides that were with Trump. Now that so much stuff is going on legally with him, people are coming forward and letting us know what is going on. And you're talking about Trump. Let me just bring something up because what I was looking at earlier, Renee, is the fact that Jeannie Thomas, she is something else too because she wrote a letter, and she wrote this letter to different secretaries.
Okay.
And the response, and this is what she said: the responsibility is yours and yours alone. It doesn't rest with any board of elections, secretary of state, governor, or even court. And it certainly doesn't rest with the media. And that's what Thomas wrote. But not only that, this is a letter, actual letter that she wrote to them. And if you don't mind, I'm going to read the letter as it is, because when she wrote this letter, and it said, Articles 2 of the United States Constitution give you an awesome responsibility to choose our state electors. This means you have the power to fight back against fraud and ensure our elections are free, fair, and honest. However, this responsibility is yours and yours alone. It doesn't rest with any board of elections, state, secretary of state, governor, or even courts. You see, this is what she's trying to do. Then she says, that's why I'm writing today to urge you to do your constitutional duty. Please stand strong in the face of political and media pressure. Please reflect on the awesome authority granted to you by your Constitution, and then please take action to ensure that a clean state of electors is chosen for our state. She's trying to change the electors. And this is what she's doing. So she is someone that, the January 6th committee need to subpoena her if she don't want to come voluntarily. One of at least 2 emails that Jeannie Thomas sent to Wisconsin lawmakers urging them to overturn the 2020 election result in November 2020.
Well, one of the things I can say about that, and she got a whole story, and also her husband, Clarence Thomas, who's in the Supreme Court, making big decisions that can have an impact on a lot of people's lives. And one of the things that we know that they had an impact on was the women's freedom, the right to choose when to have a family, how to have a family, and their ability that if they are raped or incest, or if they get impregnated with a child that is either dying because of miscarrying, in various states, they are putting rules in, putting laws in that will state whether or not a woman can abort a baby if the baby is dead in their body. So I think that there's a referendum on the vote to choose. And one of the big things is, number one, how they're purging rosters, voting rosters, and also the women's right to choose is on the ballot. There are so many things also. HR 1 is on the ballot. There are so many things that are on the ballot. HR 1 is putting out there that money that is out there that they want to disclose people who are feeding into these elections. And we know that at this point, the ballot, or being able to cast your ballot and having a plan to vote is going to be something that is very important. November 8th is going to be the general election. However, prior to that, and we'll be giving out dates because the dates are there, early voting in so many states are going to be happening in October. So do not wait until the end. And one of the things that we always talk about is know exactly who is on your ballot. Know exactly that if you have an incumbent, and that is somebody who is already in office. So you need to be familiar with the terminology, and you cannot wait and say, what's an incumbent? An incumbent is a person who's currently in the position, and they're coming to you to be reelected, and they also have maybe competition. So the incumbent has been there at least 2 years in that position, and they want you to reelect them. But what you need to know, particularly depending on the party that person is in, you need to know what have they done for you lately. So there have been bills. We happen to know that a certain party is not supporting the current president who's in office. And I'm not supposed to, Calvin, talk about the parties, but it's so hard. Okay, we know that the current president is a Democrat, all right? And none of the quote unquote Republicans are voting and supporting the Democratic president. So in doing that, we happen to know, And even in our own jurisdiction, Calvin, we happen to know that there are some Republicans who are currently in the position that is seeking re-election, and they did not vote to certify the election. There are people who are in the position, and there are people who are out there saying that Trump or DT45 won the election, and he's trying to get them to, even till this point right now, he's trying to get them to overthrow the election. So our ability to go to the polls and cast our ballot could not be more serious and more important right now. Because if we don't, then we need to make sure that we have good numbers, because otherwise it's going to be challenged. They have people currently, Calvin, on the ballot that are election deniers. We have people, okay, they are putting people into key positions so that if they don't like the election, they can overturn it.
Well, Renee, what you're saying is so important, but what's even just as important as your Secretary of State, there's about 13 individuals that was there at the insurrection on January the 6th. And those 13 people now are running for Secretary of State. So can you imagine if they become the Secretary of State, what they're going to do to that state, especially during election time? They can change the whole way that individuals vote there. So we got to be very careful, And the thing too, Renee, is one of the things that I like about Pitt County is that we do a paper ballot, and the paper ballot, again, this is my opinion, that is much better than electronic, because no one can come and tap into your electronic. Can tap into your paper ballot, but they can tap into your electronic, and that has happened already.
Yes, they can go in and they can make changes, okay? And the thing is that the numbers, what they can't do is change the numbers, so that if you are not registered, I do know that in some early voting, I do know here in Pitt County, you can actually register to vote. You can register to vote and vote at the same time. I do know, because we had voter registration going on there at the Rose High School for the job fair. They actually had people there registering people. And what was made clear to me is that if you, and each state is different, but here in North Carolina, if you are on parole, if you are on probation, if you have a felony, if you owe money, none of those things can stop you from voting. So we need to make sure that we educate our community and we let them know, well, yes, we are going to be supporting you to make sure that you register and that you get to the polls to vote. Voting is so important. Calvin, do you know that here at for Awesome Radio, we always try to educate our voters. We're going to be having some candidate forums. We do know that they're going to be at the local Pitt Community College October 4th and October the 11th at the Goss building, SGOSS building, from 6 to 9. So come out, be educated, know what it is that your candidates are trying to offer you, and know and become educated, because the incumbents will be there and we'll be able to say to them, how has my life changed? And if your life has not changed, why are you going to put that person back in office?
But not only that, Renee, but all candidates are invited to this event. It doesn't matter what party you belong to. You are invited to this event, those two events, because it's so important that you let your constituents know, what you ran for and your platform. And there are going to be questions that the individuals can ask the candidates. I think it's good.
It's very good. Okay. And I'm not sure, but I probably will be hosting. Not only do we host the radio, but I'll probably be hosting the event. And if you want to see Calvin and Renee, because if I'm there, Calvin's going to be there, and you'll be able to see us, and you'll be able to ask these candidates questions yourself. We're coming up for our first break. We'll be right back after this, and this is News and Politics.
This program is brought to you by CT Cleaning Service, 919-345-5823. Nationally certified for COVID clean, commercial,
What's wrong with your throat?
and for all jewelry. CT
You gave it to me.
919-345-5823. Have a peace of mind that your place of worship, your office building, your home, and your place of work have been nationally certified COVID cleaned, disinfected, and sanitized. 919-345-5823. Thank you, CT Cleaning, for your support.
Funerals are a very difficult thing for a family to go through. Besides the sorrow, loved ones are left with the stress and the high cost of arranging a funeral. That's why Funeral Advantage is there. To help protect your family from financial hardship, it pays your loved ones up to $20,000 cash immediately to and handle expenses. And we will no longer complicated cost funeral. The average funeral can easily cost $9,000 or more. And most government benefits will pay your family is only $255, leaving your loved ones to pay the balance. What do you think knowing that my benefits will never be paid for and my earnings to drop your phone is between 40 and 85? Contact Rodney McLean, your local final expense specialist. 252-864-1000. 252-864-1000. There's no obligation, so contact Rodney McLean, your local final expense specialist. 252-864-1000. This is Awesome Radio, WISLP 106.
And welcome back to News and Politics Today with Renee and Calvin Boston Hill. We are here at Awesome Radio, 106.9 FM, WBISLP. And if you choose to join the conversation, our telephone number is 252-756-2008. I didn't say good morning to Vince. He's been joining us every Monday, and I'm thankful. And just to let you know, Vince, I'm not sure what state he's living in now. We went to the same elementary school, and he had a lot of brothers. He had one sister, but we've been able to keep track of what we're doing online, and I just want to thank him for support. And we do have a lot of people again who are tuning in every single Monday at 10 a.m. and they're following us because they said we give out good information, Calvin.
Well, you know, Renee, we do get good information. And one of the things I'm going to say right now, what to know about getting updated COVID-19 boosters, flu shots. You know, we hit it, but we didn't get into it that much. But one of the things I just want to bring out is that the fall and winters are around the corner, which means that not only is it time to get a flu shot, you know, I got my flu shot last year and I'm going to get it this year. And I want everyone out there to get that.
So did you get it yet? Did you get the new booster yet?
I'm going to get, well, this is the thing, Renee, but U.S. health officials are urging everyone who is eligible to get their updated COVID-19 booster. You know, and that's what we have to get. We keep talking about we're going to get it, but we have to get it because we don't tell our awesome radio listeners to do anything that we haven't done or going to do.
Okay, I'm glad you put going to do. And we're going to go before we leave this state, Pitt County, North Carolina. We have got to get the booster, the new one that has some of the new viruses in it. We didn't mention that the Queen has died. The Queen of England is dead. Her son Charles is now the new king, and I don't know, maybe some people have some mixed feelings about her policies and how it had how they went out there colonializing so many countries. I do know my family, my father's side is Jamaican, and my mom's side is Trinidad and Bajan. I do know that Rihanna bought their freedom from Barbados, from England, the Queen, but she has not released or relinquished her hold on Jamaica. So Jamaica does not have their independence. Perhaps people can call in at 252-756. I don't want to speak out of mind because I was born in America, but my dad, he spent his first 5 years born here. He was born here in America, but the first 5 years of his life, he did it in Jamaica. And we still have family in Jamaica, a lot of families here in America. And we speak about immigration and how they took advantage of the opportunity of coming here to make a better life for their family. And when they speak about immigration and they speak about how people are being treated in the Mexico state line, and my family came on the boat. A lot of families came on the boat.
Through Ellis Island?
Through Ellis Island. We do have family members' names on the board there. But I will say that we have to be clear that people need an opportunity. And the people who are judging who should come to this country, who should not come to this country, nobody other than the Native Americans should be able to put like not even put restrictions, give everybody an opportunity who wants an opportunity to come to America for a better life. So we need to stay tuned into that because everybody should be giving, or if they want it, they should have it because there are, other than Native Americans, there are no original Americans.
Well, not only that, Renee, but I just want to bring something else up because you always hear on the news about the southern border, the individuals coming across the southern border. But there's so many people come through Canada, they fly in with temporary visas and then they stay. So, but then you don't hear that, but you do hear it right here on Awesome Radio because we're going to let you know that it's not just the southern border that people are coming in. They're coming in from all different ways and all different countries other than the southern countries.
That's right, and we keep it real here on Awesome Radio.
Yeah.
And then we want to say, well, what is on the ballot? When you go, and you can even now download your ballot so that when you go there to actually cast your ballot, you're going to go as an educated voter. Okay, so that we have on the ballot our democracy. Trump was trying to, or DT 45, he was trying to be the forever president of this America. And we already know the turmoil that he has put on this America. He has put, and he has people who have drank the Kool-Aid in terms of believing that up until this day, and we even have elected officials, Calvin, particularly here locally, that says that Trump is the president. We have people here locally in Pitt County, in North Carolina, of a said party, Republican, that did not vote to certify the election.
Well, not only did they not certify the election,
they didn't certify the election. So as far as we're concerned, they bought into the lie that Trump won the election, and we have these election deniers that are still politically in a position that can cause some harm to this America. So it's important that you look at the record of your constituent who is coming now to cast their vote, wanting you to give them their vote. And we need to make sure that we have people in there that's going to advocate for all of America and not just some. So we do know that what's on the ballot. What's on the ballot is our democracy.
exactly.
We don't want to lose our democracy. And then when you look at how some people did not vote to certify the elections, but not only do that, they're like domestic terrorism. And then we also have that people, they want to make sure that all babies that come into this world, that they stay in this world, but they didn't even vote for baby formula. They voted against getting money to get baby formula when there was a shortage of baby formula. So
But you know, I'm glad you brought that up, Renee, because you know when they the Supreme Court knocked down Roe versus what is that?
wait,
Wade.
mhm.
Well, and then you have so many people saying that you know they are voting so that for abortions not to be done. Well, yet they want women to have these children, and then when they have the children, when they have these babies, they could care less about them. And what I mean by that is something you just said, Renee. Those same individuals voted against baby formulas, you know, and not one Republican, I'm going to put it out there, not one Republican voted for that. So how can they say that they don't want anyone to have an abortion, even though it might kill the mother? And then they say, well, we don't want to vote for the babies to have a formula, a milk, or things of that nature.
But not only that, when they had the Build Back Better bill, which ended December, that gave families who have children an opportunity to be pulled up out of poverty. And it was very helpful. But meanwhile, you have people who did not vote to keep that going. So what's on the ballot, of course, is the Build Back Better, which helps families, middle class, and I won't say poorer families, to come out of poverty. What's on the ballot is gun reform. Here it is now. You have schools that have started to open, and you physically in certain communities have people placed into schools with AR-15s because they've been put there to for protection. Now, I think that we need to keep our eyes, Calvin, on the gun reform, because we don't need 18-year-olds being able to buy these ARs. So what's on the ballot is gun reform, police reform. Police are still murdering people every single day. Some Black person is being murdered by the police. So we need to make sure that we
Brought to you by Blessed Hands Car Wash and Detail Plus, 2016 Chestnut Street, Greenville. Vehicle inspections, U-Haul rentals, spick and span hand, vehicle wash and detail. That's Blessed Hands, 252-413-0609. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Blessed Hands Car Wash and Detail Plus, 2016 Chestnut Street, Greenville, 252-413-0609. Thank you, Blessed Hands Car Wash and Detail Plus, for your support. Pitt Community College, Pitt NC Works Career Center, and Pitt County DDS are partnering with Bethel Workforce Development Center, 7449 North Main Street, Bethel, every Thursday from 10 o'clock a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m.
You might
Staff
be.
will be available.
Yes, I know. You know they can still see us. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Training opportunities and employment opportunities.
It's important that they know we're connected.
Yes.
That's every Thursday, 10 o'clock a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. For more information, the contact number is 252-818-0020. 252-818-0020. People are looking for jobs, and jobs are looking for people. Inspiration for the family and ministry teaching for practical Christian living. Awesome Radio.
Wake up. Good morning and welcome back to News and Politics Today with Renee and Calvin Boston Hill. We are here at Awesome Radio, 106.9 FM WBISLP. Call-in number, nobody called us yet, Calvin, at 252-756-2008.
But that's okay. We see a lot of people listening, you know, and that's a good thing. That means that We have people from different states, even outside of the mainland, listen to our show here.
So right before the break, and that's what I have to get more tuned into our breaks. But we were talking about the various bills. Now, one of the things that we do know is that the Senate is split 50-50, and how the filibuster, if you haven't heard about that word, that's another filibuster, which is a law that was put in place that you have to have at least 61 votes before a bill can pass. So we do know that people could be upset with the current president, Biden, because maybe he made some promises out there. But if he doesn't get people to vote in his favor, and we do know that we have two of the Democrats that are supporting and getting money from the Republicans to vote against the president's agenda. So what do we need to make sure happens this November the 8th is that we have more than enough votes, and we vote the people who are going to support the president in his last 2 years. So we do know that with the murder of George Floyd and the person who murdered him, he's serving time right now. We wanted to have the George Floyd bill to pass, and that would help with police reform, just how policing is being done. But because we did not have all the votes and the filibuster was in place, the George Floyd bill did not pass this time. And it doesn't mean that after November, when we have a new agenda that's put on place, that bill cannot be reintroduced. But if we don't get enough senators that will support the president, then that won't happen. So this is another reason why you need to make sure you plan to vote. Now, the voting reform, John Lewis, before he died, he put this bill in, and everybody was so happy with John Lewis. Okay, we have a call coming in. Good morning, News and Politics Today. Okay, anyway, so John Lewis, his bill would have dealt with voting reform, and that bill could not pass because there weren't enough people to support the president when he put that bill out there. Dark money, or HR1, talks about who is funneling, what companies are funneling money into these voters, into these legislators who are supporting their concerns. And one of the people that we know is the gun rifle company, NRA. NRA puts a lot of money into all these constituents, and this is another thing that you need to know. And I did it. I actually, Calvin, went online with my local people, because I'm saying these people have problems and they have issues, and they have to, if you Google, you can see who is giving them money. And the other one is that money, which was the bill for HR1, which did not come to the floor. And the other thing, these are the reasons. Democracy is on the ballot. Reproductive freedom is on the ballot. So it's important that we stay focused, okay, and understand that if we do not have our interests at heart when we go to cast our ballot, we can lose a lot. We can lose our actual freedom, Calvin.
Well, you're so right, Renee, and that's the thing. Women should be marching, they should be protesting, and they should be voting this November the 8th. I don't understand how these men want to control a woman's body. I don't understand that, and maybe someone can give us a call and explain it. For me, and I'm talking on a personal note. How can you tell a woman, if she is pregnant and she's about to have a miscarriage, where the doctor cannot assist her because now the doctor can be charged? Even in Texas, they have this law where the governor there, I don't understand him either, because they have this law now where if someone gonna get an abortion and they could be sick or whatever, well, you can file a lawsuit and sue them for $10,000. and they can't even go out of state and get it done. This to me is absolutely nonsensical. It doesn't make sense. But then you have to listen to these individuals, what they're doing. When you vote, and you have so many people agree with them. That's the thing that I don't understand. So many people agree the fact that women can not get an abortion even if the fetus is dead within them. I don't get it, Renee.
Well, I can tell you that I am pro-life, but I'm pro women's right to choose. So one thing doesn't have to do with the other. However, the people who are in position, in power, making bills in all these various states. Here, we use the 5-caller app because guess what, Calvin? I'm sure you know, but right now our senators are Republicans. So because they are Republican, it does not mean that I'm not going to call them and let them hear my voice. We have to make sure that we have whoever the representative is there. They've been put there in Washington, put in the General Assembly to be the voice for us.
For all the people, not
Yeah.
just a certain segment of people, but for all the people. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, green, yellow, Republican, Democrat, liberal. It doesn't matter. They should be there to represent all of us. But what happened once they get there, it's a whole different ballgame.
And the thing also is President Biden has done tremendous. So even though he could not get the bill passed for the George Floyd, he put an executive order in. He has to do quite a few executive orders because he's not getting the support from the legislators that we voted and we put in there. So in the last 2 years, Biden's accomplishments is the Chip and Science Act. The Chip and Science Act is like while we're sitting up here and we wanted to get a brand new car. I don't know those people, but but we have people there who are getting brand new cars, but they can't get their car because they're waiting from China to get a chip maybe to help to program their new car.
But on chips, Renee, I just want to bring this up. Biden was just out last week with a company that now going to be making those chips right here in the United States. They're going to be giving out a lot of jobs, and those chips will be made right here in the United States
Right.
for computers and other technology.
Yes, for our phones. What will we do without a chip in our telephone? So chips are very important, and to be able to produce it here, giving those good jobs, and then also not having us wait for a chip that might be sitting in the ocean on a boat somewhere because they don't have people to unload them. The other thing is that the president, because they were about to raise the premiums on the Affordable Care Act, he put something in place, Calvin, to stop them from raising money on the on health care for those who have the affordable care. Then he also passed an act that expanded health care for veterans. I mean, you were there in Vietnam, you got sprayed with the Agent Orange in so many different places and countries in these wars. So many veterans are suffering and not getting the proper care that they need because of the funding. So President Biden passed that. The Inflation Reduction Act, he passed that. Lowering prescription drugs, where now Medicare is going to have an opportunity with the drug companies to negotiate prices that will make drugs affordable for so many Americans. I mean, so many people have died because their drugs have completely priced them out and they could not afford their drugs. And as you get more mature, like us, we need to make sure that we have our, we can get the drugs. The climate and energy investment. President Biden, he understands, and we should be understanding as constituents, that there's something going on with the climate. There's something going on with the flooding. There's something going on with the melting of glaciers and ice up north, further north. So as this water starts to melt, the ocean gets higher, and it has to have an overflow someplace. And where it's overflowing is with us. So we need to make sure that we support um, the investment on climate and energy. If we continue to depend on gas to fuel our cars and not go electric, then we are going to have to suffer the consequences. But I know California put a law in place saying that in such a date, they're going to have to be electric cars in California.
Well, electric cars is going to be the new thing. Again, that's where the chips come in, because electric cars are going to need chips. But the thing too, Renee, is that, we here in the United States, have not stopped talking about, so many of us anyway, have stopped talking about insurrection. But that January the 6th committee, faces some momentous, decisions. And with week 16, they have 16 weeks before it's dissolved. And that means they have to have some more people come in and talk to them. Lawmakers are considering whether to seek Donald Trump testimony and still having to negotiate interview with Mike Pence. And they will must decide what to do with Republican lawmakers who defied their subpoenas. Now, that's the other thing. What are they going to do with these lawmakers that they gave them a subpoena and now they just said they're not going to abide by the subpoena? If I got a subpoena and I had to be there at a certain date and I wasn't there, the U.S. Marshals would be at my house ready to take me in handcuffs. So I guess it's different rules for different folks. We always knew that, but now we see it.
And it's boldly being displayed in so many ways that in the approach, if a person, if a cop stops a person, depending on their race, is going to be how they determine how they're going to handle it. And so we have to be proactive in saying, well, listen, no, we're not going to tolerate, not aggressively, but tolerate a lot of this stuff. And the way that you can't get things done is through the vote. And it's so important that we understand that, number one, documents were stolen from the White House, from the archive files. And now Trump, because he, or DT 45, because he appointed all these different judges, they are now putting in place things that will make it more difficult for us to charge DT 45 for the crimes. I mean, I am petrified to know that the nuclear codes, maybe for other countries, who knows for us who he's been selling information to.
Well, Renee, I just want to say something else too, because I just saw this here. The Justice Department investigation of Trump possession of top secret, again, this is top secret material at Mar-a-Lago, has complicated matters. And a federal grand jury has accelerated its investigation into the former president's effort to overturn the election, which a Georgia special grand jury is also probing. And that's the thing, these grand juries, Georgia, that's a state. That's not federal. So they're going to be able to do something with that because, like I just said, the grand jury is probing it, and we don't know what is going to come out, but I know that they're going to do the right thing.
Okay, and the right thing is to make sure that DT 45 does not ever get close to the White House again. Him and his minions are very dangerous to our democracy in this country, and I'm going to just say how it is. And we need to make sure that the election deniers do not get into a position where they can change ballots, or they can make laws, as they're doing right now, for voter suppression and women's freedom.
Well,
So
women's freedom, it's a big deal. I can't tell you how important it is. Like I said before, you women out there, make sure you get out on November the 8th and vote. Some of your women out there go along with what's going on, but I'm saying the majority of you, I know, do not go along with what's going on, especially with the women's rights.
okay, so again, pay attention, stay focused, use your 5-caller app. make sure that you are in tune to what is going on. Make sure that before you go to cast your ballot for November the 8th at early voting or on the actual voting day, that you have done your homework to make sure that you know exactly who is there on the ballot.
Well, I'm going to leave you all with a question, and maybe next Monday you can give us a call and let us know the answer. And the question is, Charlotte, North Carolina, who was it named after? You know, it was a royal person. I'm gonna give you a hint. And you will have to go all the way back to England to find this out. Now that's the hint that I'm giving you. So next week, give us a call and let us know the name Charlotte. Who was it named after? And not only that, but you know what, Renee? There was a princess that was called Mecklenburg. Where did that name come from? Think about it. Mecklenburg in Pitt County. So we got to look at these things and think about that. But Mecklenburg is not in Pitt County. I misquoted on that one. But think it out. Give us a call next week and let us know about Charlotte, North Carolina.
All righty. So one of the things also that's on the ballot are teachers or school boards. It's important when they are taking books out. They don't want to talk about any Black history. They don't want any Black history taught in the schools. They don't want to talk about slavery, and they want to make sure that people who are elected to the school board will be supporting the critical race theory of not being taught, which was never taught. But again, this is the reason why we need to make sure that we attend candidate forums. This is the reason why we need to know the platform of people who are selecting and asking for our vote. It's so important, Calvin, that we do not sleep for the next 2 months.
Correct.
Okay, I mean, we'll take a nap, but we are not going to sleep because I need to know and do my investigation on these candidates that are asking for my vote. They have already did a lot of gentrification is going on all throughout. Gerrymandering is going through without redistricting. And when they redistrict and they pull you out of a district, sometimes it's not until you go and actually cast your ballot that you know that you can no longer, this person is no longer there representing you. So do your homework, know exactly who is on the ballot so that when you go, you're an educated voter and that you are participating. And not all the times when you go and you cast your ballot, will the person win that you wanted to win. However, the fact that you are part of it is the good thing.
Well, and you're right. You got to be part of it in order to get the solutions that you want. And voting is so. When you say my vote doesn't count, let me tell you something. Every vote counts. And for those that don't know, there have been individuals that have won an election by 1 vote or by 10 votes, even 100 votes. But if someone wins an election by 1 vote, that means that 1 vote mattered tremendously. So again, what we have to do is make sure that everyone vote. And if you have an 18-year-old in your home, make sure they register. And if you have to take them to get registered, make sure they register. Even if they're going to go get their license, they can do all of it right there at the motor vehicle.
Right. And then also people who tell you your vote don't count or I know there's some, I'm not going to get close to that, but some people don't cast a vote or don't even vote at all because they believe that the church is going to speak for them. And certain religions have carved out so many people that will not be at the ballot. And that's even more of a reason for you to cast your vote because there are so many people that are believing that they should not vote. But anyway, news and politics today with Renee and Calvin. See you next Monday.